Ropecon.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is our super awesome secret panel that has like half the people changed during this weekend, but I'm really happy with the panel we have right now. I think it became actually bigger and even more awesome than it was on the official listing. And this is a panel about business, money and gamers. So a lot about from maybe the ethics and methods of making money in game industry. You know, we have role-playing people here, we have actual game people here, we even have a LARP professional here now. So I think we have a good discussion about how and why we make money with games. So if you have any questions during the panel, feel free to ask, and I'll pick you up, I'll point you out, and I think I need to pass this mic on if there's any questions. But my name, actually it's next on the list. My name is Jonne Harjan, and I'm past 3 years I've been working in Jyväskylä, and I moved in Helsinki. In Jyväskylä I was a founder of Pelioskunta Expa game business cooperative, and then I ended up working with university, with Jyväskylä Game Lab and different initiations. Well, basically creating more game industry to Jyväskylä. Well, basically I have been an entrepreneur in all the possible roles and then working for research projects. And that's enough for me. I think we can start the introductions, and this is the gamified part of this, that you can match faces and names and not in order again, like yesterday.
Catch us all.
So you can catch them all.
Start throwing Pokeballs, we'll throw them back.
They don't catch, they don't stick. Awesome. Maybe we can start with from this corner.
Okay. It's on. Can you hear me? Yep. Alright, so I'm Jussi Autio. I've been in the game business now for 7 years. Worked on 4 different game companies, and on top of that I was also working on a game initiative where I helped 11 game companies to be established in the northern Finland. And 2 years ago, or 1.5 years ago, I moved to Tampere to work on my biggest game so far, a PC strategy game, which is still in the works, but hopefully it will turn out great in January.
So, hi, I'm Kaitlyn. I work as a game designer at the moment. I've been in the industry for 9 years. Started out as with testing games, actually. I've been working recently on City Skylines and continue doing that for as long as I can.
Hi, my name is Kincaid. I've been in the gaming industry since 2010. I used to work in Montreal, Canada. I've worked on AAA games on both PC and mobile. Right now I work as a lead game designer at Playraven, and I specialize in player-driven economics and monetization.
Hello, I'm Reko, Ukko. Currently VP game design, and seriously, I've been in the industry for 13 years. Been a bugbear, remedy, chocolate, natural motion in Oxford. I've done all kinds of games from console to PC, mobile.
Hi, my name is Ross Watson. I'm the guest of honor for Ropecon 2016, and I'm really proud to be here. I've been in the industry for 16 years. I've worked on card games, board games, tabletop games, role-playing games, video games, a very broad range of them, including Battle of the Gothic Armada for $10, which is my most recent project.
Well, I'm just excited about this panel. We have an awesome panelists here, and let's start with the easy warm-up question. So, when people pay for games, what are they paying for?
the biggest thing that they want is experience, entertainment. Like they're paying for fun. Sometimes that fun can just be a silly little, something they want to kill an afternoon with. Sometimes they want a story, they want drama, they want horror. Some people find that fun. I really don't, but there's certainly that market out there, and that's what they want. They want the entertainment. They want the experience of, I get to be part of this story, this game, and that's really what they're paying for.
I agree, the experience is what they're paying for, and that can be a challenge, actual challenge, strategic challenge. It can be Tetris, it can be Fallout 4, it can be everything in between.
Yeah, even for the same players. One day they want Tetris, the other day they want something cinematic, epic, playing for hours. So it's not even that you would have casual players and hardcore players, but the same people kind of travel from one end to the other.
Yeah, you can travel that distance even within the same game. Some days I want to play Fury Warrior, some days I want to play Beastmaster Hunter, and on certain days I want hard challenge, and on other days I just want to go 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and just something mindless that I can do well at, but I don't have to really think that hard. It's really nice that I sort of get both those experiences from the same product.
Kind of pushed us off the deep end already.
Please.
So I would kind of, I think it kind of also so what do people expect when they pay for a game? It's kind of similar to why do actually people play games? So we have a lot of discussions on this, and when you ask, for example, an audience, you have stuff you play for fun, and you play for all this kind of, there's still quite high level reasons in a way, because I think for the most part in gaming, what actually makes it stick is the learning aspect of it, and it's basically something that as a gamer you don't necessarily recognize that happening, but for example, if you play Super Mario or something, I think the first scene there is really important, where you kind of realize that as you kind of learn that, okay, I can jump, and I can jump on the monster, and then you can do domino jumps, I can jump on top of the blocks, and if I hit the block, something happens, a coin pops out or something. But I think that kind of sets gaming apart from anything else, because the kind of feedback loop is so fast that you just see stuff happening, and that's basically learning, and people like to learn. So the feedback of learning new skills and mastering them, those are kind of inherently the stuff that as a gamer you kind of look forward to. But you can obviously look at it as learning is fun or exploration is fun, but it's still the kind of learning element there that kind of does the magic. But you can just kind of, it's kind of weird to talk about games like it's like a learning game, because it feels that now it's some kind of educational crap. But it's still that is the thing that kind of for the majority of games, that is the thing.
Are you talking about interactivity?
Yeah.
The game is distinct because it's interactive.
Yeah, and the kind of as you kind of, at first you are really crappy in it, but then the feedback will be so fast, and you kind of the game is telling you how well you are doing, now you did it, and now you jump on top of that, and you kind of learn skills as you go along.
So, do you, Ross, agree with how is the feedback loop in physical games? So it's not so Super Mario-ish, but
well, so Super Mario Brothers has one of the best intro levels ever designed. I mean, you learn very organically exactly what you need to do, and all of the elements in that game. It's brilliant. It's absolutely should be taught classrooms as this is how you get someone to learn.
it is.
But there you go. So, in physical games, obviously, it depends more on the communication of the rules to the player, usually through a rule book, although now it's evolving, you have Let's Plays on YouTube, you have even companies are producing here's how the game is played kind of video, a lot for Kickstarter, for example. But yeah, it has to do a lot more with trying to communicate it rather, not through visuals or interactivity, but through more of a static state. And a lot of companies rely on ambassadors, people who can teach the game to other people.
I think games is a very unique medium because it's probably the only form of entertainment that you can actually fail at. You're reading the book. Oh, sorry, you don't know who this character is. If it slams shut, you can't. I wasn't reading well enough. But games are one thing where you actually really have to teach the player how to do it right. And every game has a different way of doing things right. So that learning phase is something that's really unique to video games.
And many games make people pay for misery. Really awesome start, I think. Let's go back in history a little bit. Let's go to basics. Would someone of you like to elaborate how money was made earlier in the game industry? Because there's been a huge evolution, like in the free-to-play and all that kind of matter on iPhone. What was before iPhone? And is the physical game world changed a lot? How was money made before mobile phones and before free-to-play?
How far back do you want to go?
Let's not go to Aztecs, no.
First, the Earth cool. Dinosaurs.
Well, I mean, it's actually kind of interesting seeing the parallels now between the free-to-play and the old arcade market. Because the old arcade market, like, you had to draw people to your, first of all, to your arcade, and then get them to play your console, and keep filling those quarters in. And if it was too hard, too frustrating, gave up. And you're seeing a lot of the same parallels now between how free-to-play games, you have to get them to your device, to your store. And again, if it's too frustrating, if it's too easy, if it's not engaging, they're not going to put in a quarter. They're not going to give you any money, and they're just going to go to some other game. So it's actually almost coming full circle back around where we were in the 1970s-ish. Even before that, I guess pinball would have been a big one as well. So it's history repeating itself. It's kind of interesting seeing how that really works out.
Well, wouldn't you say that Demon Souls is the exception? I mean, obviously, we didn't know we wanted an incredibly hard challenge until they gave it to us, and then we were like, yes, more please.
True, but I mean, Demon Souls also wouldn't fit a free-to-play model. I mean, if you had to pay a quarter every time you died in that game.
Just because nobody's done it successfully yet.
6 months ago, everyone would have told you that Pokemon Go was a bad idea, but things are printing money at the moment.
Something like that would work.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the arcade era, it's also fun that they needed to be hard enough, because if they were too easy, then with 1 quarter you could play for hours, and that's bad business. Because you need to get the player out or to put more points, so it inherently needed to be very difficult games, but not too difficult that they wouldn't put the other coin in.
And long enough and I guess procedural enough that it would just keep giving them more and more difficult challenges as it goes on.
It encouraged system mastery and competition.
Yes.
And it was the basis for a lot of professional gaming. So.
The high score list. Everyone wanted to be on the high score list.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course maybe we have to touch on the phase when you actually went to the shop, you bought the box, had an actual game in it,
Yes.
then you went home and you played for as long as you want. And kind of for those games, of course, there weren't expansions, but those were only big. So like with 90-play games or on smaller online experiences, you want the expansions to be only small so people can download it and they can easily get into it. Whereas when you actually had to go physically to the store and buy the box, then you have to have something more. Because if you have a tiny piece of content in a huge box that costs a lot, that doesn't make people happy.
And also with the physical copies, there was very little in the way of try before you buy. I mean, the number of boxed games that I bought over the years that I brought home, played for 3 days, and went, dear God, this is crap. Uninstalled it and never played again. That's $60, flushed down the drain because there was no way to try the product. I mean, we had demos that would come out on like PC Gamer, but they were like cherry-picked. This is the perfect level with the perfect experience. and then you actually get the game, and you're like, okay, well, there was that 5 minutes of fun that I played in the demo, and now I've got like 10 hours of this rest of this game. Just $60 gone. So I mean, that's one thing that I really like about the free-to-play market right now is that if you try out a game and it's terrible, you're at like, what, 10-minute download time? You know, whereas compared to $60 that you had to play back in the day, that was, you know, that was a lot of allowance.
Yeah, that's like you get more players come to play games.
Yes.
The actual amount of players is growing because you don't have to commit to the $60 game.
Yeah.
And try to guess in the shop which one would I maybe like. So it's easier to get into the games, it's easier to stop playing, and it's easier to keep playing.
Yeah, like when I was working on consoles and PC, like if you could get 5 million disc sales, that was a hit. If you only get 5 million downloads on your free-to-play game, you're in trouble.
And going back to that difficulty learning curve thing, I mean, you would pay $60 for a game. All your friends say it's fantastic, and you try it, and you're like, I don't know how does this work? I can't get anywhere. Nowadays, I can go on YouTube and see someone else play. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do.
I remember when I was young, I actually convinced my parents to let me call the Sega Genesis line.
Yes.
This one game that I'd been stuck on for like 4 months. I finally got to this one part where I couldn't beat it, and I called them up and they're like, oh, you have to kick the rock. What? I paid $9.99 to find out I had to kick a rock 3 times to beat this boss?
My really sad, like the saddest experience for me on this paid game aspect was I bought, I think it's Dungeon Master for PC, and everyone had thought that this is like the best role-playing game ever, like Dungeon Crawler and so forth. And in the beginning you go through this gallery where you choose your characters and your whole party, and then you venture forth. And I got the game for Christmas, and for the next 10 months I played the game, but because it was 16 colors, and you have this kind of like maybe 3 colors devoted to the gray of the floor. So there's this door and I can't get past it. Like there's a keyhole there, but no, I don't know, like where's the key? During the 10 months I played it, I was basically clicking through every pixel in every single room and going around. And then like at the end of the 10-month period, I just like, oh fuck it, let's give it another try. And then I happened to walk and realized, oh shit, there's actually on this square, there is a key on the floor. I couldn't recognize it. And then I pick up the key and it's like you have your holy grail. Shit. And then you put the key there and the door opens and the adventure begins. So like, definitely worth it.
Did you do the all the sound effect?
You played it with the wrong machine. If you played it with the Amiga, you wouldn't have but you would have had the problem of save disk always getting wiped out. So you constantly need to restart the game.
Of course, I don't think at this time.
So technically, I got the most limited demo version of Dungeon Keeper ever. Because it was basically, you just had the gallery to walk around and maybe a couple of turns, and I think there was one worm that you fought against. That was the extent of my Dungeon Mastery.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, it's hard to say because when premium games, boxed games were the thing, it's whenever I had enough allowance to gather so I can buy a game, you had to play it. You paid 60 euros, I bet you played the shit out of it. So is that
Yeah, especially like if you're like a 12-year-old or something like that. I think the gist of it was very much that if you spend money on it, you will like enjoy it. Like you have to play it. It's so much money that it's not like you can kind of reverse that. So I've played some horrible games. And like my thing is like I remember when the X-Wing was released on PC, like the LucasArts simulator games, and I managed to see it for 1 hour or so that like my friend of mine had a sound card, so you could actually hear it in sounds over QQ. And then when I bought it, I couldn't afford the sound card. So I just had the PC keeper. So this is the lamest story ever. When I was playing it in like stone cold silence, I could hear the sounds.
you didn't mock the sounds yourself?
Almost. Yeah, I mean you have to do what you do. So. It was like 300 Finnish markas or something. So.
Sounds like you're playing with R2D, like beep, beep, beep.
Yeah. But yeah, you really like if you pay for it up front, then you will enjoy it. Like no matter what it is.
You should have brought the movie in the background or something.
Yeah, I
One thing not yet discussed about the past, I was trying to dig out, is the distribution model. So the boxed games we were mentioned. So I think the iPhone and App Store started era English for like small Finnish companies and small companies all over the world actually publish their own games without the publisher. So do you have like interesting experiences with the publisher back then and now?
Well, I've been working with mobile games before on the iPhone. So this meant that the company did games like for publishers, for distributors. So like LucasArts, who owned Star Wars back then? Well, the Star Wars people came in, they were like, we're releasing a new movie, we need a game, make one. And then the company did. So, and this meant, especially with the Star Wars games, all of the games were checked by people who are responsible for handling all the Star Wars items, merchandise, characters, names, all of this is right. And the same dudes like went through all of the like mugs and plushies and all, and these people also had to play the games. And it took months. Just like the game is finished, now we have to get it from the Star Wars dudes so they can stamp it and say this is official, that Yoda is the right shade of green, whatever they're looking at. But like they look at months and they say that this is correct, and then they get a mobile phone to play with, and they have to check each and every level, all the characters, all the names, all the text. So it is slow. I think they were not prepared to handle all the mobile games we're making.
Yeah, I think there's a fair amount of war stories in Finland regarding Games Workshop as well in terms of the idea, because it's, the thickness of the space armor, shoulder armor that is a thing.
It's got to be eye level. I know this.
Yeah.
So about the early era, why am I trapping myself with the word I can't pronounce? But of the mobile games, like if you remember those, like all the cheap magazines back then, they had like these openings, full pages or spreads of these games that you send a text message number to something, and you maybe got the game that actually worked maybe on your phone if you could read the instructions and maybe install it, and maybe it didn't just work. Like era of early like WAP games and Java games, like Symbian games. Do you have? And I've talked about this with multiple like CEOs of these and like how unfair the business model was for the game company. So, do you have anything you'd like to share about this, or do I keep going?
Well, I was working at testing back then, so we tested the hell out of those games, but no one ever knew if anyone bought the game. Like, we had no sales numbers at all. No one knew if anyone has actually played it, like the end user, have they ever gotten their hands on the product. And like, if I would ask you, like, how many of you have played, let's see which one we made, Clone Wars mobile game? No one? I bet you didn't even know one existed. But it came out with a movie, and that isn't even, that's like, what, 8 years ago, 7, something like this. So it isn't even that old. But, like, who reads the backs of magazines and orders games? No one. And I guess the US guys had some kind of different systems of distributing the games, but no one ever knew. Like, we made the games, it was finished, it went out, and then it is out. It's done. Yeah. Well, it was with the publisher, so they pay when the game is done, but no one ever knows if it's been played.
So who in here happened to play? I'm just kind of like, because I like this era for some weird reason. it was weird. It was difficult, but it was weird. Who's played the mobile game version of 300, like the Frank Killer's comic. Yeah, because that is my favorite, like mobile game. It was such perfectly done. You have your 300 guys and then the people are attacking and you are changing the formations and flank and it turns into a massive bloodbath. It's excellent. But yeah, I mean...
And the reason I have played it is because I was paid.
Yes. But yeah, I mean it was difficult. Like I was working in digital chocolate at the time. And I actually can, it's really weird, like every time you talk about this magazine thing, I have to like remind myself that was a thing, like it actually happened. Because it's like, when I got to digital chocolate, they were just kind of, I just worked with the high-end, like N95 games and stuff, so I didn't go through the Symbian hellhole like stuff with like these big screens and whatever. But I think the business model was interesting because you basically had this multiple walled gardens of the different operators and you have to do deals with all of them and then the deals are all different and then you have to like support like 1,200 different phones.
They all want the Motorola, like the opening phone.
Yeah.
The crappiest of all, the most sold phone in the US. And it was so shitty. So any game when you went to look at the pictures, like what am I getting? And then you downloaded it for that phone, it was like a third of the content.
Yeah, it was a bit heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was a strange era also. I never made the early mobile games as we were making online games at the time, but being a game developer in Finland at that era, everyone was still asking that why don't you make mobile games because Nokia was so huge. And we had to defend it all the time. But no, it's a shitty market. It's impossible for the team of our size to actually handle all those different phone models. That it's impossible. But still, that question kept popping up everywhere, and it was super frustrating. Trying to get funding and then explaining that no, we're not going to make mobile games. At that stage, when iPhone came out, then we also started making games for iPhone. But that era was just strange.
Yeah, Nokia definitely had its kind of. They definitely helped the Finnish game industry quite a lot during that time. Though, like, obviously there was Engage and stuff. Maybe that didn't do so well, but it was still supporting a lot of
Engage.
It's fine.
So many games that never.
Yeah, but it's there was. I remember this one meeting with the Engage guys that they were kind of showing the device around, and then I think most game studios they went to like the first comment from the developers was that okay, so this is the demo thing. So what kind of capabilities does the real one have? And yeah, this is the real one. Yeah, but yeah, they helped a lot.
There's a mobile game, it's one of my favorites, from a company called Kairosoft called Game Dev Story.
Yeah.
And it's about creating games for different platforms. And I learned an awful lot, from that about how the business works. Actually, it's pretty interesting. It's a great simulation.
Yeah.
It just needs more crunch time and more investors and things like that to really be. They need a sequel.
So let's move to this day through the strategy games, because what we talked about earlier was you pay a premium boxed game for 60 euros, $60, 350 marks, whatever, and then you play the shit out of it. And one really interesting thing that happened that has been really demonstrated by the Supercell and many other great Finnish companies and many companies all around is free-to-play basically reinvented how to make money in strategy games. Because I understand they were a little problematic. We have Caroline and Jussi here, well, right now working with strategy games. But it's when you think about it, when you think about the publisher, the money-making side of the deal, that okay, somebody buys our game for 60 euros and then plays it for 3 years. That's quite worthless thing to sell, actually. So what do you think about? Let's come to this day and how, especially the free-to-play and all other ways of making money these days. I wonder what's my question here.
I can comment on that.
You can comment.
What I find super strange is that, particularly on the PC gamers, there is this strange dislike for DLCs. Whereas, like, if you really like a game, then it should be worth money. And if I love DLCs if they come out from some of my favorite games, and I wish there were more, because then I can keep on playing that. And it's the same stuff with the free-to-play, that if I like it, I want to extend the experience there. But I like the backlash that some companies, including our current publishers, that some of the fans seem to hate that Calypso makes lots of DLCs on their games. And I'm like, what the fuck, if the game is great, you should be great. That, yeah, more content. I have more excuses to play that game.
That's the Germans. They need to actually drive to the shop physically and buy the box. And when they get the DLC, that's only digital. No, they get confused.
Yeah.
The people don't even have credit cards. Like how are they going to use it? Like, it's a problem.
Well, I think a lot of that also has to do with, I'm a PC player for a long time, so there's a strong perception among PC players that when you have DLC, it's stuff that should have been in the game that was cut just to make the DLC. And I'm not going to name past employers, but I have seen, discussions like that going around the office of what can we take out in order to make people pay for it later. And that, again, coming back to the whole ethics of making money in game is extremely shady, and it made me very uncomfortable. And I mentioned that to my manager at the time, and it was just down to like, look, we need to make $10 million. We make $10 million so the project is canceled. And that was a really hard decision for us, because nobody on the project really wanted to do that, but there was the business reality of if we can't present a business model that makes enough money, the executives are going to come in and kill our project, and we're all out of a job. So we did kind of have to do stuff we didn't want just to be able to stay employed. And thankfully the game did, as far as I know, quite well. I was no longer at the company when it launched, but it was a problem, because on the PC market that is a common perception, especially on this DLC, is that they say, okay, this is stuff that was done. It was finished, therefore it should have been in the original price. And a lot of players, they don't really realize that if we hadn't been able to get the additional money for the DLC, that extra work would not have been done. Like it is extra stuff that went into the project which wouldn't have been okayed by the executives without the additional budget of the DLC income.
Yeah, not to mention that the DLCs need to be tested. That takes time. They need to be cut out of all the bugs, and it's always extra work in any case.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike, of course, if it's clearly was originally planned as part of the original game.
Well, it is still, if you take it out, it might not work.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but kind of, I haven't seen that much of PC players being kind of negative towards DLC, because we have made maybe 3 DLCs so far. Well, I can't remember, something along those lines. And what we did was that we know what the price of the game will be. Like, we're making about a €30 game, and we try to match that. Like, we have all of these features. We want to have a package that feels like it's worth the price that players would pay. And this is kind of like when I go to see a movie, I don't want to see a 20-minute movie and pay the same as for 2 hours entertainment. So kind of managing expectations and making sure that the content kind of matches what people are paying, how they feel that a €30 game, what it should be like. And of course someone will still complain, but that's like, you can't go making games without people complaining. So kind of, and we have also done 3 updates, really big things also, like the whole day and night cycle was 3 updates for all the people who just had the original game, so they got stuff for free. And we want to, of course, keep the players happy, but we need to get money to be able to actually make more games. So kind of balancing between builds up, doing content that feels like it matches the price, and then of course handling still all the discussion that arises.
Yeah, there's I think, perception of value. You know, when you buy a $60 game, you expect a certain amount of time, typically, to enjoy it. There's one of my favorite reviewers who will, often bring up, like, this game only gave me 4 hours of content, right, for $60. And I think the most recent one I've heard, discussed about this topic is Star Wars Battlefront, which had a very, very, very brief single-player experience on the disc, and then they were like, oh, here's all this DLC that expands that single-player content, and I think there's a reasonable argument to be made for exercise to say, well, why wasn't my game more complete? But then you can also look at something like an expansion for Skyrim, which is over 200 hours of content. It's a vastly different type of thing. Sometimes the question is, when does the desire for more content become entitlement? Like, I want this, you should have put it on the disc, even though you've already put all this work into the product.
Yeah, and then, like, one of the reasons interesting discussions was with the Firewatch. It's really excellent quality simulator game. But, like, there was that one guy who was talking in the forums that, okay, so is it really kind of worth the money, like if it only lasts like 4 hours or something? And then the actual developer comes in to kind of talk about it, like what actually went on with the development. So it's, I guess in that sense, it's a tricky question. Like, it depends like what kind of a gaming experience you value. So if you are strictly about the hours, then probably not. That's not your thing. But yeah, at least for me, like Firewatch was like, I just couldn't stop playing it. Like I was just going at it. It was so finely crafted.
Well, games are so different. I mean, the experience can be so vastly different that you get the expectation of value or the idea of value can be very fluid, so to say.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I like working in free-to-play now, as opposed to when I was working in on the premium titles in the past, is that you give a player a free-to-play game, they have a pretty good understanding that, okay, there's going to be monetization in here somewhere. Like that's not a surprise for them anymore. But if you hand a player a $60 boxed game, there's that expectation, like everything will be included. So you kind of have to work a lot. You have to work a lot more to just sort of convince them that the additional content is acceptable, even before you have to convince them that the additional content is worth the additional money. Whereas with free to play, like they know there's going to be there's going to be a store in here somewhere. So they're already accepting that as part of the experience. So it's less work on our side to get them to the point where they might actually indulge in the additional spend.
Yeah, I think with the kind of paid games, like one of the really interesting projects that is coming out like next month is the No Man's Sky. And it's like, I really love the concept, but the question for me is like this, like every single review or preview or whatever, it only concentrates, yeah, okay, so we do this procedurally generated planets and you can land and shoot dinosaurs and like that. And it's always the same. So my question is it going to be another spore, which is basically just like, well, yeah, it's really interesting, but it gets really dull, like after a while, or is it going to be something groundbreaking? And it's like, it's always there on the PlayStation Store, like pre-order now, and a couple of times I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe I should pre-order it, what if it's shit? So I'll just wait, I don't want to risk it.
That's probably smart.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Is this mic on? The mic is on, but can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. From there?
No.
No, I don't think so. Then we are out of mic.
We can hear your voice anyway.
I know, but they want to NSA made me do it. So, now I forgot. But basically we had one question there in the back, and this is really interesting topic. We have plenty to talk about here.
Hello, we hearing each other?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm of course playing a lot of games, and I have a very ambivalent relationship with DLCs. But I've been thinking about that for quite a long while, and one thing I noticed, in my personal opinion that is that a lot of people, or at least some companies who publish games, assume that their users are idiots. In the sense that a piece of armor or a piece of gun is going to go at $40, $30, when it's obviously just a piece of texture and a 3D model that he took out and put back in. It's actually gameplay. If you insert a significant piece of gameplay, there's no problem convincing people that the DLC is worth the extra money. But as soon as you just pick pieces of equipment, and everybody knows it's just digital stuff. There's no actually hammering the iron or putting the gun to a lathe. It's just a 3D model. And people are not idiots. They're not fooled by it. They might buy it because they're already hooked into this sort of flow game. I will not say addiction, but the sort of flow psychology where you just need to do more. But this is what sort of driving the backlash you get towards the DLC. I'm not saying all game companies are bad, but it's part of the ethics. And when you don't think about this on an ethical level, you do get a very large group of people that start having a very negative attitude, even though they don't necessarily very good at articulating it. So they go like, yeah, DLC is evil, which is patently false. But that's just my comments. I would like to hear what you guys have to think about that.
Is this about the Bethesda horse armor thing in Elder Scrolls?
Among others, there's many games where you just got a piece of gun, just got a piece of armor, just a really short extra quest of some kind.
Yeah. So yeah. I think at least it's kind of hard to say because like I'm certain that there's a lot of these instances of this happening. I don't know about it. All I can think about is the horse armor on Oblivion. So I think like for those guys, that was basically like the first, like it was amongst the first ever like DLC released on like Xbox 360 and so on. So it was basically like completely unknown terrain for the developers and also for Microsoft on how does this thing actually technically work. So I would say that at least on that point, I wouldn't risk doing anything massively like complicated until I know that the actual DLC platforming stuff works. So I think like making a crappy looking horse armor for a single player game is probably like well, you tried it at least. And I think after that it has gotten better. So, but then there's actually interesting, in digital chocolate I used to work in this mobile game called California Gold Rush, and that was like just at the tail end of like free-to-play kind of starting in, but this was still a paid game. But we wanted to try like, so okay, how does this DLC thing work? Because now Apple opened the App Store for actually in-game purchases, but they actually couldn't tell you like how do you actually do it. Like there was no guidance whatsoever in terms of like what the user flow should be on the purchase and what should you do as a developer and what does Apple do for you. So the game basically on a nutshell was this, it's kind of risk versus reward. You basically have a certain limited amount of days to prove that this area is good for gold mining, so you can try and turn up quite a lot of profit. And then you can use part of that profit to make the mine safer so you don't get stuck on collapses and stuff, which drains your time you can spend there. So then like the first ever, I think it's the first ever Finnish like IAP, which is basically this booster pack that gives you a bit more dynamite and stuff like this. And it was like the understanding from player perspective was like, wait a minute, like previously I could buy this stuff from the store, but now it costs real money. But no, that's not true, because you could always buy those bombs and stuff from the store as you could, but the booster pack was just in the inventory there as an additional option. But no one noticed it. They thought that we had taken part of the shop out and turned it into like a real money thing. And that was not true, but the game basically started getting, instead of 5-star reviews, it was getting 1-star reviews. And it's really hard, like, why does that kind of like, yeah, it's tricky in that sense.
Well, I think there's sort of two key points that should be made with regards to these cosmetic additions. And the first is just what game you're putting it in the first place. I mean, is this a game where I can show off? Where I can show other players like I got this cool thing, and that I can. It's more of a social type experience. And a great example of a game that does this very well is Counter-Strike Go. I mean, they have made mountains of money selling those lock boxes with the really, really cool looking skins. In fact, there are websites out there where you can gamble your skins on competitive CSGO matches. Because people watch these matches, they see these people with these really cool skins, and that's the social side. Like, I can't really see whether, if you're shooting my head off, I can't see which knife you've got equipped, but if I'm watching your stream, I can see, oh man, this guy's got the cool rainbow crescent thing with his name engraved on the side. Oh man, I really want that. And consequently, the people shell out a lot of money for it because it lets them get that really cool experience. It adds to the game. It doesn't take away. And the other question is, how integrated into the core game experience is the monetization loop? One of the things that I've had to fight against in the past with some of the players I used to have when I was working on PC and console was to get the monetization to be part of the experience. Like the player sees the store and it's natural. You're not bashing them over the head with it. You're not saying, hey, buy this thing over here, buy it.
Have you played Dungeon Keeper?
When the monetization is really part of the game, it just feels natural. It feels like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be there. When you create a full game and then try and shoehorn in monetization like 6 months before launch, that's when you end up with these systems that feel like this cancerous growth. They're sort of latched onto the side of a great game.
Oh, you have played Dungeon Keeper.
Actually, no. I've read the reviews.
But yeah, Dungeon Keeper is the same as any Clash of Clans. It didn't do anything differently than everyone else was doing. It was just a premium game brought to free play.
Yeah, but when you look at these games that have this whole natural experience and then just sort of have this ugly monetization thing latched onto the side, I can almost guarantee you in each of those cases it was added in within the last 6 months before launch. It was put in after the whole rest of the game was put together, and they realized, oh crap, we forgot to do monetization. Here, and they run away from it because they're scared. As opposed to starting right from the beginning, saying, okay, here's this game idea. How can we make a fun game that also makes money? Instead of making a fun game and then 6 months later going, oh shoot, we forgot something. And that's how a lot of these bad monetization systems come into being, is they're added in way too late. You have to start right from the get-go of, this is the game, this is why it's fun, and this is why it makes money. Not come to that later.
Yeah, and I think I want to emphasize also your first part, Kaitlyn, that most of the just visual DLCs are in the multiplayer games in any case. When it's about the player wanting to show off, I've played 100 hours of this, then I want to show that, hey, I have this awesome armor. So it's about player ego then, not necessarily that maybe if it was more powerful, if it wasn't just a visual upgrade, maybe it would break the balance of the game. And a lot of MOBAs are focusing on indeed that they have a very core audience who want to keep all the battles equal, and then the only thing they can show off that, hey, I'm really tough and awesome hero in the game, so then they sell the cosmetic DLCs. Yeah. But that shouldn't be mixed with the premium DLCs, I would say, because I haven't really seen cosmetic upgrades DLCs function well in premium games, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even remember examples much where people would try that premium games.
Well, first of all, I can say that I own all the extra content of Sims 2, and they sell stuff packs that's just cosmetic for a single-player game. Yeah, but Sims 2 it's a bit old now, so it was a bit different model. Back then, people were not used to just playing a game and then it offers suddenly pay $5 and you get this stuff. So, but for that game, it's because once again, what kind of game are you making the DLC for? If it's a kind of playing house and you have these kind of dolls that you move around, naturally having new kinds of clothing and items in the game, it is interesting. You don't want to use the plain old ones. Whenever you want to make different houses, you want to make different kitchens, whatever. So for this kind of a game, it is good. And people who play a game for a long time, they can feel the need to somehow express that I am really into this game. And this is when they are like, please take my money. And if you don't have some DLC, tiny, even cosmetic, something that they can use their money on just to kind of communicate that I love this game, then that's a problem. You need to have also tiny stuff, kind of cheap stuff that people can just kind of express their feelings towards the game by buying these tiny things. I know some of our players say that they would buy any DLC that comes out just because they want to support the game, even though they might not like the content. And of course, this is a tiny fraction of all the players. Otherwise, we would be millionaires. but it is. We have to make this possible. If there is someone who is like, I want to give you money, I want to make it possible.
Yeah, well, I think like you touched on a very great thing there with The Sims 2. Like in that case, cosmetics are content.
Yeah.
Like you get to experience new pretty things by getting the cosmetics. And I think that's really where a lot of the bad cosmetics, there's one is just a cosmetic. It's not really a thing that I can use to show off or to have new fun. But the ones that do it really well are the ones that make it that the cosmetics are content.
It may have to do with your amount of time you get to spend in the game. Like you spend a lot of time playing The Sims. I spent a lot of time playing Saints Row 3, and I put a Santa suit on my guy, because that looked cool. And I was fine with that. I love playing Space Barbie with my guys. It was worthwhile. But there's a difference between, I get a cool Santa suit to run around for hours in this open world game, and a slightly different texture on my gun that I hardly ever see because I'm aiming at the sight. So there's a big difference there, I think.
Yeah. Perception of value, like you said earlier.
Yeah, I think in case of Sims, it's more about that it is a dollhouse, so you are kind of projecting this role play aspect to it, and because you kind of play with the same family for a long time, then it kind of starts bringing up stories there. So then if you decide that this is this kind of farmer family here who lives with here and all the cows have died, so you want to dress them up as farmers or something. But that is like I just typically just bring all the bathroom. That's my Sims always.
Sims, the Amish expansion confirmed.
But that's the thing, like if you play like Elder Scrolls or something, like strictly single player, and it's like even from like a first person angle that you don't even see your character, then I can kind of think that even though the story lasts a long time, it can be kind of hard to project kind of your character into the character itself, so you probably wouldn't buy stuff for that, but then in Sims I can find that it's probably really possible that people would buy that stuff.
Okay, we have two questions here. Let's have
No,
that.
more of an input, because you said earlier you might want in a game where you see other people gaming it, like you said this like treasure chest or something. I actually had a different experience in World of Warcraft. I confess I used to be, I think I played it 10 years or something. But later in the stage, basically, before that you could only get rare pets and mounts, of course by various quests, and sometimes also there were drops for the bosses. And later you could buy some, they made new ones you could buy through the shop, with the intention that you have something you could show off. But basically with everyone I spoke, and that was also my feeling, if I saw someone sitting on the mount I knew it which cost 20 euros, I was like, yeah, you have the money, but you didn't achieve anything. You did not spend any time research or looking for that thing. You did not wait in that spot for 10 hours to maybe spawn thingy. And I am a collector, so I actually bought some of the pets, but I never showed them because I felt like, yeah. So it can also be in a way negative, especially if you have another culture before you add buyable stuff.
You're talking about the sparkle pony, aren't you? The sparkle pony?
No, that's absolutely ugly. I'm not that typical.
I think when it comes to World of Warcraft, I think it's what Kaitlyn said, that there they changed the rules how they monetize. And the monetization indeed should be figured out in the beginning.
Well, actually they didn't, because the expansion were always there in a way. And the expansion are the main points, like the new levels, the new worlds, where they are more.
Yeah, but when it comes to that you can now start buying those horses and so forth, in that sense, indeed, it broke the structure of the game, and that's why a lot of players were angry about that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying earlier about how they added a monetization system onto an already complete experience. So they took the whole of the game and then they're like, oh yeah, and here's this other thing, and stuck it onto the side. And yeah, the players didn't react very well to it because they had already had the existing community of, you want that shiny mount, you have to go out and earn it. And then they added in the monetization, and yeah, it had exactly the effect you said. It was like, you didn't earn it, you bought it. Now there is some functionality to having these the premium mounts in World of Warcraft. You can fly a little bit earlier, you can ride them from level 1, so there is a little bit of practicality to them, but really you're never going to buy more than one. So I'd be quite surprised if their mount sales have actually been a significant part of their monetization.
I think they're more because for casual gamers, especially. So the players who don't have like every evening in the week to raid a certain dungeon to get the achievements, to get that special mounts. For those players, it's kind of okay.
Yeah, just so it's be okay for the casual players, and I definitely agree with that. But the players who only come in, once or twice a week, and they do want something pretty to go right on. They don't want that crappy blue Windstrider tank that my monk is still riding. So yeah, they're the ones who will probably be the most inclined to buy this. The ones who are, cash rich and time poor. But as I said, I'd be surprised if their mount store or their mini pet store made any major percentage difference in their income compared to, for example, the WoW token, which is an item that you can buy to trade with other players for in-game gold, which can be used for subscription time. And that, I think, would, again, having no access to any of their data, looking at it from the outside, I think that would probably have a bigger impact on their bottom line than the mounts, which took astronomically more time.
Yeah, and I think also it's also like a player perspective thing, because kind of like some people value the achievement, then some people only care about the value of stuff. Like there was an interesting article in National Geographic a few years ago which went into the Saudi Arabian hotels and stuff. And so what kind of a hotel do you build when you have infinite amount of money? So then it's certainly from an aesthetic point of view and from an architectural point of view, they're all of it look really ugly, because especially just can you have the wall, the walls can be gold, and can this be gold, and I think it looks still crap, let's add jewels on it. So it's all basically just this kind of massive extravagance of stuff, and you know that all of that, basically the whole, from construction point of view and styling point of view, it took no effort, because the idea is that as long as it's the most expensive thing out there, we just put it on there. And it's no matter if it's a toilet or whatever, so from a kind of the style, sense of style just goes out of the way. So it's a similar thing that, we know that you have infinite amount of money, but would you have thought about the actual architectural style of it?
I think this. Well, about kind of with World of Warcraft and the mounts, it's also because it is a practical thing. You get to places faster and you get some of the paid ones earlier. I don't know how it's now. It's been changing. So but kind of at that point, the people who bought the Spiteful Pony, they were probably quite happy. So kind of if you can measure how happy the players are with the stuff they're getting, and they're happy with the content you have made for them, for that it might be quite good. And of course someone will be upset, but kind of it really doesn't take much away from the value of the mounts that have been actually achieved somehow. And those are still rare. You can't buy those, because that would absolutely break the whole game if you get to buy those. So kind of, it's not optimal. If I got to decide, that one portfolio would never have happened. But once again, there is a group of players who enjoy this kind of stuff. And when we are thinking that you have a massively multiplayer online game, you need to have lots of players. So how can you get new players in? So it sometimes might be something that to the old players feels a bit weird. And of course you also have to respect the old players, but if you find some kind of middle ground and it isn't absolutely awful, you can't buy the super cool months that you have to earn, but you have one month that's easily recognizable that you can buy, that's kind of okay.
And I think also, like, especially from the free-to-play angle, like what is sometimes really hard to kind of imagine is that the kind of like the field of players has just kind of exploded. That you are basically have players from all over the world. They come from very different kind of like income states. Like there are some like superbly rich people playing games. So for example, yeah, well, you can call it whales. There's a Chinese MMO. I can't remember what the name is, but there is a guy there who spends approximately $8 million on the game per year. He has his own like in-game customer support person, which is a she, and he also basically has a bit of like demigod abilities in the game. So if he decides that there's gonna be a mountain here, then he can actually create that mountain. So essentially,
$8 million a year on one of my games. I'm putting that out.
But if you think about it, he's basically like he's paying to be a level designer in a live game.
Let him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I think like if you kind of think about it, that there are like for some people like $5 is a huge amount of money, and for some it's like nothing at all. And all of those players are in the same game at the same time, like from different. So that's the thing that, like, from demographic point of view, it's really hard to grasp, because back in the day it was just like, yeah, average like white male, 25-year-old, no kids, no family, that's it. That was your audience. But nowadays, like, it is just incredibly vast. So.
I mean, I really need my life back soon because this is getting ridiculous. But yeah, I just want to add to that, like how often like there's some sort of discretion, like people who don't have. Personally, I'm one of those guys who buy stuff because when I'm playing a game, I want to play the good part of the game. I don't want to bring the horse somewhere that I actually need and stuff. So I just wish there would be more love among players too. And I heard about interesting stories about managers and designers, how they get complaints from players when there's like discounts and like price drops or stuff, like, oh, I paid full money, like, well, now other people get it for less, and it's kind of like, well, that's how the world works. If you buy a new car, it's more expensive than the used one or the older one.
Yeah, and stuff goes on sale. Like you go to the store and next week the item is half price. Well, sorry.
it's really annoying when it happens to you, but
yeah.
The web player base is so vast. Like you say, like
1% of the players complain. You've got a lot of emails.
But let's have a next question, and then we have a third question. And look how much time we spent with the World of Warcraft. I'm afraid we're gonna start with it. It's a folk culture. It taught everybody a lot. So, but let's try to keep things moving forward.
So this is a bit about identity, and yet you mentioned before that people buy the experience and they buy the learning and so on. And my tortured soul was crying because nobody said they buy identity. But I mean, in the old days it was show me your bookshelf and I'll tell you who you are. Now it's show me your Steam account and I'll tell you who you are. What are your thoughts on identity and kind of games as a way of identity creation? Because we are no longer all 20 to 25-year-old males, and now we need to differentiate. This is coming from a LARP background where what you play is very much part of your identity as a LARPer, whether you play the torturing yourself in a dungeon and crying with the fins in your closet, or you just want to whack some wargs. Thoughts on this? Thanks.
Absolutely. 100% games are part of identity. Not to revert back to World of Warcraft, but one or God. So yeah, I mean, it's very much a part of, like, my husband and I, we're both role players. And we've played Guild Wars 2, we've obviously played World of Warcraft, Rift, and a lot of those games, you know, some of the premium items, they look really awesome. And sometimes they just perfectly complement the character that you have in your head for who you're playing. And it's like, you know, it's $10. Oh man, but it looks perfect. It looks great. It's got the colors match perfectly, and you take out the credit card. And that's exactly what you're saying. Like, it suits the identity of the character, who suits the identity of me as a player. You know, my characters are a reflection of me. So absolutely, like I play the characters that I can identify with, and I try and make them look the way I think they should look. And if the monetization is done well, hopefully that includes that as well, so that the developer can get paid for what they do.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering what you said about the kind of like the identity based on the games you play. Like, I can certainly like if you would come to my house and see my bookshelf and the comics and stuff and the board games, you could definitely tell something about me based on that. But it's like, I was just thinking of my friends and the kind of, like, for example, Steam library, like a digital library of stuff. And at least for me, it's actually quite hard to say, like, what kind of people those would be, and that's just because of the never-ending Steam sales.
Everyone seems to have 250 games.
I wouldn't look at the library, I would look at the time spent on whatever game, so that would actually tell you something, because, yeah, it's quite tricky. I love the Steam on the reviews where you have the, like, the guy has written something and then you can see, like, how many hours he's played. So I've been looking at Hearts of Iron 4, and I just look at the people who played it for 100 hours, because I take that for granted what they say, because apparently it is still crap, so I'm gonna...
I remember we had someone complaining on the Steam review, like, this game, it doesn't have enough stuff to do. And the guy had been playing for like 150 hours. I paid 30 euros for this, and he was still like, no, it's not enough. Like, yes, it is.
You make a really good point there, Klaus, that, you know, who you pretend to be says a lot about who you are. And in games, when you pretend to be other things, I don't want to show you my Steam library for sure, but you know, the more I think about it, the more if I showed you my character in Star Trek Online, or if I showed you the way that I play XCOM, or if I showed you the choices I made in Star Wars: The Old Republic, that would say something about me and my identity. So I think that's interesting.
And when a new project is planned and trying to get funded, this is exactly what we always go through, that who is the most potential player for this game, basically what type of Steam library he would have, or she would have. So that's actually a very big part of the whole development process from the very beginning.
I just want to comment one thing. I'll give it back to you. Well, at least I get some exercise. Yeah, it's not. I just want to emphasize that I don't think anybody thinks it's only about role-playing games. Like, all kind of games, how you play and what kind of decisions you make, what kind of, like, all my chars everywhere they have beard and whatever. But like even like game that's not creating your own avatar. There's many ways how you can show your, well.
I want to share a story. With Civilization series, over 10,000 hours, I'm sure I've spent 1,300 hours with Civ 5, and I'm making a strategy game which original launch day would have been exactly the same day as Civ 6. That kind of puts us off, so luckily it's no longer. When our publisher realized that no, that's not going to be our launch day. So those couple of days being in uncertainty was definitely like a mixed feeling. That, okay, my game was supposed to come out on that day, yay, but Civ 6 is coming out. It's like, I'm gonna play that game so much, but it will ruin our game in any case.
Well, at least your publisher realized that, like, I used to work in this destruction derby game, which came out around the same time as Halo 2 or something like that, so. And there is a history in the Finnish game development, like Alan Wake came out on the same day as Red Dead Redemption. So you can kind of imagine how that went, so.
Yeah, when we launched the Secret World at Funcom, we launched between Guild Wars 2 and Mist of Pandaria. That also didn't go well.
Okay, so I was thinking about those sort of very cosmetic additions or Bibles. So I thought one game where this was done very well was actually Dota 2, because it's a game where I played it for like 700 hours or something, and I never felt like it was sort of pushing me to buy those things. And it's actually one of the only games where I've bought some small things, and I was wondering, what are your thoughts on why it was so successful? And apparently they've made a lot of money with it too, so...
Dota 2 is a very unique experience for monetization because they have the power of the Steam Forge. And for those who aren't familiar, the Steam Forge is a system whereby players can actually design items and content that can get approved by Steam and placed into the game. And the players earn money, and some of them quite a bit of money based on the sales of the items they design. So it's a very interesting situation where it's attracting very skilled 3D modelers and texture designers to make items for Dota so that they can make a living off of that game. So Steam's in a very, very awesome position of being able to basically outsource their item design. So it cost them a lot of money to set this up at the beginning, but they've been able to basically just keep pulling in money ever since. And Dota is, again, one of those games where the cosmetics are just there for prestige. It doesn't affect your gameplay in any way, shape, or form. And I get to experience your cosmetics with you. If you've got that really cool, awesome-looking staff with the sparkles coming off of it, I see that when you're shooting my head off. So, it just knows I won't win in the duel.
It doesn't feel like the people who have the cosmetic stuff are like douchebags. Like it could feel in like World of Warcraft or something.
Dota also has very good design on their tournament passes. When you use one of their consumables, at least this is the way it used to work when I was talking to one person I know that worked at Steam, is it would apply a buff to everyone. You, me, the opponents, everybody got that bonus XP or bonus progression. So if I saw someone come in and plant that tournament flag down, awesome. Everybody gets a good experience. So I feel great when you spend money, which is something that's very unique and not done well in most games. But that should be the end goal of every monetization design, is that I get to feel great because you spent $100. And you get to feel great because I'm appreciating you. It's like, oh man, this person spent money, this person is supporting this game. Awesome, I want to play with you. I want to be your friend because I'm getting tangible benefits within the game and I know you're helping the developers out. So that is something that's done rare, but when done right, is so powerful for monetization, and Steam nailed it. They absolutely nailed it in Dota 2. So I think that's a great example of monetization done very, very well.
Yeah, and I think like Dota, League of Legends, all of those, like when you have a game with a number of characters there, and then you play it and you feel that okay, so it is fairly well balanced, and then you start finding the characters that you really want to play with, and then over time, I think it becomes quite natural that well, I know that I will be playing this for a long time because the skill element is really good. It's it's right there on the like between mastery and being a total failure. And then you just like, well, I'm just gonna start dressing these things up. So it's like, I was really looking forward to Overwatch, for example. I used to play League of Legends quite a lot. And then Overwatch was interesting because, I mean, Blizzard did an interesting thing because they released all the character design stuff even before the actual game came out. So all the people who really like to dress up as characters, they could basically just take that and start constructing things, even though they never played the game. So on Overwatch, it was interesting to see the whole like, what can you do for your character? You have your sprays, the spray decks, you have the costumes, then you have the victory poses, and then you happen to be the player of the game, you get your own custom animation. So if you really like certain characters, you just hunt for those things. It was a bit half-assed, like how they did it in the end. Like, I don't think it's because I didn't stick with the game, but there are like, certainly if you can kind of foresee that this has the hours to spend, then like, I think that like, the dress up and all that stuff comes quite naturally.
And one thing you touched on there as well was the amount of skill required. For a game like Dota, if you want to be good, like okay at a character, you have to play that one character for hundreds of hours to be considered okay. If you want to be great, you're looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. And if you're staring at that same character for thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, you're going to want to dress them up and make them look pretty. Like, you're not going to dress up every one of the characters they have because there's a lot. But the ones that you really love, the ones that you play a lot, that you really dedicate yourself to, those are the ones that you're going to monetize on, you're going to make look awesome. So the more focused you can be on, like, I'm a Murky player, so I want my Murky to have the Space Marine outfit, because I think that looks cool, and it's funny. And I get to beat people over the head with a fish. So I'm going to spend money on that because I'm going to be staring at that character for a lot, so I want to have that cosmetics as content.
Yeah, and also kind of, if we know that this is the way the game is played lots and lots of time, people will become attached to the character that they play, and then they want to spend money. So just having something, and clearly in this kind of a game, having something that would actually affect the gameplay, make some people better, that would be absolutely no, not at all. So cosmetics are the only way to go, and that's only harmless. And it's like when you have played hundreds of hours, you are attached, you want something new, that's when you go and you spend a few bucks. It's really natural.
Yeah, there is also like the kind of, what do you kind of touch upon, like everyone gets XP or everyone gets something out of it. There are some interesting examples in the free-to-play side, like for example the game of War, which is kind of like on the top grossing charts and has been there for ages. Like it does interesting tricks with that because, for example, if you're part of an alliance, let's say you have like 100 people in the alliance, and you, as I can spend money, and you spend money in the game, you buy something, that actually gives a buff, like basically like an alliance-wide buff to every player in the alliance. And it has interesting bits because every other person knows, okay, someone bought or used real money within our alliance, and now I got the buff from here. And I think you can actually do it in two ways in the game. You can either let everyone know who did it, or it's anonymous. But it has that element that certainly first you get the whatever you bought for, but then you also get the kind of psychological gratification of the aspect that, hey, I helped everyone here. Yeah. And it has a lot of interesting tricks in terms of this department. But it just shows that there's so many kind of levels of emotion and kind of like how you approach these things. It can be just vanity. Yeah, I want to dress this thing up because I like my character and I want to show it to others. But yeah, humans are a bit complicated in that way.
So it kind of circles right back to what I was saying very early in the talk. Like, you're selling an emotion. And sometimes that emotion is, I want to help people. I want to, I've got a couple of spare bucks. I want everybody in my alliance to have an easier Friday because I feel like it. I want to be the good guy today. And that's the emotion that you sell that. Or sometimes the emotion is, oh man, like this person bought a thing, this person bought a thing, I'm the only one out, I should probably buy a thing. And again, you're selling emotion. You can't really sell pixels. You have to sell the emotion that goes with those pixels.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing the Dark Age of Camelot, one of the finest MMOs out there. Well, Ultima Online is really good as well. But it's basically, I was just starting, I was this low level grunt there, just grinding, killing rats and whatever you do in MMOs. And then, like, Dark Age of Camelot has this realm versus realm thing where, like, 3 factions battle against each other. And outside of the faction-only areas, there is this wilderness which has about 20 castles, and then you go about sieging and taking over the castles. And you have this massive, like, 40 versus 40 battles, sieges, like, defend the castle, storm the castle, all that stuff. And 3 castles within the wilderness area have these relics in there, and the one who controls that castle gets the power of the relic. And the power is global, so it was really interesting when I was killing the rats for the 100th time. You get this, like, notification that, like, my faction just conquered and got the Excalibur or something, so now you get like global plus 10% experience. And I just felt thinking like, holy shit, like those guys are really heroic, like they are like just fighting for my faction, and now and then they got the second relic, which kind of like, I think it accelerated your health regeneration or something, and it's just, you just like tears flowing from your eyes. Oh god, those heroic bastards. I'm gonna join them soon once I pop level 60 or whatever it was that was required. But yeah, it's a powerful thing if you can help others.
I think we're touching on a lot of subjects that could be their own panel, really. Player achievement, exclusivity, and pay to win. Things we've all kind of danced around a little bit.
Oh man, it's we are less than 30 minutes left in this. I have 4 questions there, and now you give me a few more. It's just like, where's the mic right now? Can we have your question, like, and answer it briefly? Sorry.
It's your panel. You made this happen.
I'd actually like to jump back to the topic of this panel. Even though the discussion has been incredibly interesting, so thanks for that. But I was thinking, like, have you ever had a low point in your career in gaming where you thought that you couldn't make another buck and you have to do something else because you're not going to have anything on your you won't have your next paycheck, you're going to be in financial turmoil? Like, have you ever had that sort of a low point experience?
Really good question.
Well, for me, it's pretty easy. That was in 2009. I was running a company. I was a designer there as well. Oracle just bought Sun Microsystems. Ended the support for Project Darkstar, the server system that we were using, which pretty much killed everything we had worked for 2 years. We were among the, I think, 7 companies that had adopted this with the Sun's grand plans. And then Christmas vacations came, and I knew that the company balance sheet is 0. Well, there were some hundreds of euros, but I had no idea, like, December salaries I paid, and then on January, okay, that's the bankruptcy. I need to tell the guys to go to Palkkaturu and finish to get their next salary. And going on to work on that last day to celebrate Christmas, that was the low point, definitely. But funnily enough, then I did manage to get the paid project that lasted for almost a year, miraculously, like during the Christmas vacation, so that we could continue, which was a very strange thing because I had lost all hope. But that was and it was still only like 3 years experience for me, so I wasn't any veteran or anything, so that was the kind of like where I wallowed in self-pity and ready to throw in the towel, but luckily it didn't.
I've been a freelancer for most of my life, and being a freelancer means that there are times when the work is a little lean or the paychecks are a little late, and yeah, there's been several times where it has been difficult, and I like to use those times to push myself to come up with something else to drive forward, and that's one of the reasons why I'm more successful now, is because I was able to use those periods of desperation. I don't want to eat just ramen this month. It would be nice to, how to save money. So, I use those periods of desperation to push me and design something, anything, and get it out there. But you have to really work hard to not just produce something bad. You have to realize that you're creating a brand as a freelancer, and your brand should be quality. So it's difficult. I don't want to give too many details about my low point, but just to say it was a case of needing to take the time to make the product right and get something out there that I would feel proud of and still make money from. And I think that was a difficult choice to make because of the seriousness of the situation.
I would just say that I've been quite lucky and I'm also really fast. So when the company I was working for with mobile games, THQ bought the whole studio, then it took like a few weeks, a few months maybe, when they decided suddenly that they didn't actually want to have a studio in Finland, they closed the whole thing down. But that was like, then I was one of the first people to just announce that, well, anyone who is trying to put up a new company, so I'm in, I can do this, and this, and let's go. And I got into one of the companies that was founded after Universal was dissolved, and Colossal is actually another one of these companies that were kind of created when things ended with the Java games. But this kind of, I've been lucky to always be fast and to find good places to be. And right now with Colossal, because making simulation is quite safe, and we know that we are also not making simulation. So it's kind of, we have a great team, we have experienced people, thanks to having decent work hours, and we can promise people that when they have kids, they can actually stay home with the kids, they don't have to come to the office. So just having professionals around you, and everyone is doing their share, it is safe. And this gives room for creativity, because I would have to think of how can I pay my next installment of the house or anything like this. It allows me to concentrate all my energy on being creative, creating awesome games, making stuff. And this is what the games industry as a business should aim for. We will get much more done, higher quality stuff, if we can make sure that the business side is being handled.
Agreed.
So I think that pretty much anyone who's been in the gaming industry for any amount of time has dealt with layoffs.
Yep.
It's just unfortunate reality of the way the industry works. And being able to sort of, okay, yeah, layoffs suck, but you have to be able to pick yourself up and start hitting up LinkedIn the next morning. You come from the post-work party, you get up the next day, and your new job is looking for work. And anyone who's been in this industry for any amount of time has done that to more or lesser degree. And really part of I think the skill of being a long-term game developer is how adaptable you are to going from what you used to do to what you're doing next. And finding that niche. Like I specialize in player economics and monetization, which is something very few people do, because a lot of people are terrified, which is how you end up on the side. So being able to sort of find that thing that you love, that you have a lot of passion for, and really say like, okay, I will be the best at this, the best in the world at this. And if someone wants the best in the world, they gotta come talk to you. Or if it's art, it's art. You have to find what you're good at and just push forward with that and find the need for that skill and really just sort of. I'm not sure where you're going with this, but in the gaming industry, you will be laid off. Fact of life, and you need to be able to move on, find new work, and your value can often be just how adaptable you are to finding that new opportunity and just screw it. I'm moving to Finland. That's how I got the job here. I was able to pick up my life and move to Finland. And that was a major advantage for me getting this job over the person who can't pick up his life and move it. So it's, yeah, basically just learn to be adaptable. It will help you immensely.
Yeah, actually, 30 years in the Finnish game industry, and not once in any of the studios I've been with, like, I've never seen anyone being laid off.
Wow.
Never experienced it. I guess I just traveled this interesting path. I'm just a lucky token, so
I'm so glad I'm in it.
It's an interesting question because I can't really kind of point out to that kind of a moment that you described, but at least for me, there's been issues that like, kind of like from a creative point of view have been like really kind of tough, and it's, I kind of need to expand on it a bit. So I used to work in Oxford in Natural Motion. Natural Motion is basically this mobile gaming studio that it is solely about the quality. Like nothing, absolutely nothing else matters. So it doesn't matter if we decide that it's going to be a 2-year project, because it might as well be a 4-year project. And if you haven't kind of experienced that kind of striving for quality, it might sound that is like absolutely awesome, because you basically get to do like, it's carte blanche in terms of like everything, like graphical fidelity, all of that, and everything goes. But then the flip side of it is the time to market. So it's been years already, and the project is cancelled, so I'll just talk about that. I'm not gonna name names, but back in the day, if you looked at like the female marketing, like App Store, a lot of the games were these fashion games, and the premise of it was always the same. So you are an aspiring model, and you want to make it big in the modeling world, and the way you do that is basically by buying expensive dresses, which means that you can get better boyfriends. That was the goal. So the better clothes you have, the better boyfriends you can get, and there was nothing else. So we decided that, okay, so we want to make a game on this market. And we want to make it like, we don't want to do it like a 2D paper doll thing that's still being done. And we basically had this fully 3D game with a really nice character model that didn't look like a superstar, kind of like in terms of like facial ratio, so it wasn't like tacky in that sense. It was just like a girl next door. We had full-on 3D, like on the clothing, so if she wore like a long dress, it moved accurately, like that dress does. It was just beautiful. We had the catwalks and stuff. And then we were just striving for this massive level of quality, and it was like, at one point we had a current generation console game and that game side by side, and you couldn't tell like which character was which. And it was just so perfect. And it felt like once this thing comes out, it's gonna basically set the bar for this entire genre of games, because there's no point in doing any of those 2D paper doll things, because this one's gonna do it right. And it wasn't tacky, it wasn't about boyfriends or any of that, it was more like about, you were basically like a blogger who started up, and basically your followers was your kind of experience count, because that's basically how it goes. Like you get more followers, and if you are a thing in the modeling world, then you will be asked to kind of, hey, well, you have so many followers, can you come and do a catwalk for us? And you start small. But then, like, what basically happened was Kim Kardashian. So then it's kind of like, oh shit, like that basically just took the whole market. Like that's kind of like the thing, and it was still the same, like that tacky, like yeah, just no brain kind of approach into things, and that was so sad. Like I've done like one modeling game like back in the day, and I really enjoyed it because essentially it is a simulator game in a way. But it still kind of hurts quite a lot that we didn't like, we could have pushed it out earlier. But it had to be perfect, and with perfect I mean that not many people in the team would no longer say like, what do you need to add here to make it even more perfect, but there was always something, and it never came out, and that's so bad.
I want to just add that as I experienced yesterday with my new storytelling game, sometimes what seems first to be a curse turns out to be a blessing, because it forces to go to make our skills higher and finally opens new possibilities.
I really need to push this forward. This has been so interesting. Really, And I think it will emphasize about the gamers part of the panel a lot, and I think that was exactly the point. So I think we talked a lot about basically trust of the gamers towards the game developers, and times when we actually, as the developers, failed to deliver. And there's been a lot of learning baggage in free-to-play and DLC, and people still remember that. And basically, the big problem is the cost of making the games. and what you actually said, it's a hit-driven business, and sometimes people have to lay it off, but people still have to be able to feel confident when they're working in a game company. Okay, tomorrow somebody's not going to kick my door in and me out. So I think it's really important to make even some extra money with the good games we make, so we can have some long tail to actually deliver and keep the good spirit inside the company. Because creativity needs the safety, like you said. That's one big point I've been saying all the time. You have to feel safe about your next paycheck, feel safe about your home and your next month's food, so you can actually be truly creative, even though the despair sometimes can drive you even further. But about trust, there's one thing that really pops out, and it's kind of new thing, kind of old thing already, is the Kickstarter. And I believe our guest of honor has some experience in the Kickstarter scene and gaining the trust of the gamers.
Well, yes, Kickstarter is very volatile for that. If you can deliver on a Kickstarter, you can earn trust. And if you continue to deliver on Kickstarter, you can build trust to a point where the next project will be almost a guarantee, because people will know that you are good at making a thing happen. There's actually a fairly infamous guy in the tabletop market right now. His name's Ken Whitman, and he's done like 5 or 6 different Kickstarters and delivered on 0. Okay? But he continues to use Kickstarter, and people continue to give him money. And it's really kind of a shocking thing. There's like a blog following this guy's, perfidity, if you will. So there's been examples of just the good and the bad, absolutely, in Kickstarter. So I like to say your first thing on Kickstarter is going to make you or break you in terms of your integrity and your trust for people for crowdfunding. If you do a Kickstarter, it's your first one, you have to complete it. You have to, because if you don't, that is your one chance to make first impression, and they will always say, oh, that's the guy that didn't deliver on that first promise he made, because Kickstarter is definitely a promise.
But obviously this guy. Basically.
Yeah, I don't know, it's definitely like, I think he's damaging the process for everyone with what he's doing. He's making it harder for any individual game designer to make anything on Kickstarter, thanks to people like him. So don't be that guy. Don't be Ken Whitman at all. If you do Kickstarter, and Kickstarter is a wonderful tool, but make sure that first one you do is something you can completely fulfill.
So has he done then something else that made him famous, or how can
He's came here, he's came present.
He does a lot of low-budget acting things, like the Brothers Barbarian was a show that he was involved in, things like that. I don't know if you've heard of it. A lot of YouTube, things like that. But anyway, yeah, it's just, the example I was using is that you can abuse people's trust with Kickstarter. And doing so, as I said, just makes it harder for anyone else.
I bought, I think the last game I bought on Kickstarter was Brothers, the one in project. So in the end, I ended up paying money when I'm trying to play a game, which is a bit weird. Also, I'm still waiting for the sheep to actually be running around, because that's promised. But kind of these huge projects, they have people who are trying making material for Kickstarter, like it all looks awesome. The plans are as they should. I, as a game developer, can look at it and be like, this is a realistic game. I can buy this. This is okay. This will happen. But of course, it's out of my hands. And kind of with larger projects like Pillars of Eternity came out about a year ago, I think. And kind of just managing the expectation is really difficult, because when people have actually invested money in the game, they feel that they should get the game they want. And when you have a million people saying that I want my game, that's the only one I want, otherwise I would be forums and I kind of post nasty videos on YouTube. And it's a problem because people feel so entitled to the experience they want because they have put in money and they have experienced what they want. That this is why I wouldn't want to do a Kickstarter because I can't handle all of those people demanding the stuff. It would kind of interfere with my game design because of course we're making the game for the players, but having a million people say that kind of this doesn't kind of be done. They will be upset and kind of having that negative publicity will hurt the game. And I think it's more likely to happen in a Kickstarter than otherwise.
Well, we were in a panel earlier and you were talking about a contract and how the people were expecting you to do more than the contract stated. Kickstarter is a bit like that. You have to be very clear about what you're making and try to communicate very clearly, you know, this is the scope of the project, right? And you make a good point though, because people are basically buying the idea of the project and what they think of it is going to be more cool to them than anything you can make.
Yeah, you have to be very careful when you're planning out your Kickstarter, especially with your bonus rewards, your stretch goals.
Don't overpromise.
Yeah, I for a couple of months I worked on the granddaddy of all game Kickstarters, Star Citizen.
Oh, yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, which
Where's my sheep?
and grew, and I think they're well north of $100 million right now, which is kind of insane. Actually, no, it is insane. It is very, very insane. And that game has grown in scope phenomenally. And it's kind of it's a very important lesson to take from that specific Kickstarter is just make sure that each and every single one of your stretch goals is actually obtainable with the amount of money that you are getting for that stretch goal. So if it costs, you know, $1 million to make X, don't make the $1 billion reward that thing because you've got a whole bunch of other expenses which you will never foresee. And yeah, just be very, very mindful of your stretch goal scopes and try to keep them digital, if at all possible. Shipping pixels is really cheap. Shipping people shirts and posters and mouse pads, that can get to be a lot more expensive and a lot more time consuming and takes time and money away from actually making the game. So you have to be very careful about those stretch goals and make sure that they do fit within the budget that you are allowing your game and your time, more importantly the time.
Yeah, it's crazy on Star Citizen. I was actually looking at it last week that it has kind of gone full circle. That originally back in the day it started the Kickstarter and there were probably a lot of perks that you could get. But nowadays on the Star Citizen page you can actually subscribe into it. So you pay like $15 a month. And that gives you an access to multiple different like video documentaries that are being shot at the same time, and you get to participate with Chris Roberts in this, and then you can hear from the producer like how he's planning his sprint, and it's just like shit. Like I guess they have time at some point to make the game because there's just so much stuff going on, and it's interesting that okay you can subscribe indefinitely, paying $15 a month to this nebulous thing.
But Chris Roberts has put everything on the line for this. I mean, if it doesn't happen, he'll make it work. So they're making another game again. Yeah. So.
But I mean, like having seen the inside of that game, it's exciting. I'm very, very excited to see that game come out because it is really going to make or break a lot of video game Kickstarters because, as I said, it's the granddaddy of them all, and if it goes down, it's going to take a lot of video game Kickstarters with it. So it's an industry-wide, like we need this game to succeed. We need it to come out and be a hit. So, and they understand how much pressure that project is under. Everybody working on that game realizes just how important it is to the video game industry as a whole.
That leads us to the wrapping question to basically about Kickstarter and like how the gamer culture has been adapting to the new monetization models, and like people are getting more used to free to play and everything and Kickstarter. So what is your most accurate interpretation of the future of the monetization games? How are things going to change in the near future? or in the distant future, so that's more accurate prediction there. And, well, short answers.
I'm predicting a lot more player agency, like deciding I want to spend my money on this thing. Not that thing, because that thing doesn't interest me, but I want to spend my money on this, and when players spend their money on it, you know, developers listen. If we make $10 million selling X, well, we're going to make a lot more of X.
So there's going to be more publishers coming back, or gatekeepers, or what do you mean?
I think the players are going to be more of the gatekeepers. Yeah. Like we're still very much in the Wild West stage of free-to-play monetization. We're still finding out what works and what doesn't. And ultimately, it's not us that decides it. It's you guys. It's, you know, what you spend your money on is what we're going to do more of. So if you really like certain things, fine. Because we are listening, we do have metrics, and we will keep making the stuff that you spend money on.
Yeah, and especially like data-driven design and all of this, like there are so many more ways of actually finding out what players do, what keeps them playing, and kind of developing on that and trying to find out what is it actually that helps us keep the players in the game, helps them to spend money, makes them feel good. That is what we're trying to find, and that's what we will be making.
Yeah, my final comment is that the game business has changed since it was, or at least video game business has changed since the very beginning, and the only certainty is that it's going to keep on changing, and we need to be keeping on adapting. So, expecting current anonymous to continue endlessly, that's not going to happen. It's going to be next things happening.
Yeah, I mean, at least from my perspective, with the free-to-play stuff, it's, you know, basically just look at it as a hobby in a way. So, for example, on Best Streams, the game that's currently live, it's been live for almost 2 years. Like, you have a dedicated pool of players who play that game like quite addictively, and kind of like it's kind of part of your daily cycle. So you might be waiting for the bus, or you might be having a morning coffee, and then you just play the game. And it's like the spend isn't necessarily that much on these guys, but it is something that you have kind of taken as a hobby. So you don't play other games, you just play this one, and that's how it kind of keeps on revolving.
Eventually, Steam's metrics are going to know me so well, it's just going to buy the game for me.
You've got served. Thank you very much for that.
Ropecon.